Good afternoon. Hey, it's Scott Arias, president of ACE Consulting, calling you from my office. I guess talking to you from my office right now. And today we're going to do a Facebook Live session on, a concept that I'm currently working through. It's called EOS Entrepreneur Operating System, and the book is Traction. If you've never had a chance to read this book, it's an excellent book. Take a look there. Wickman is the author. And why do I think that this book is important? I think this book is important because of this. This has basically a pie chart of, basically your business and things that are important, things that make your business successful or not successful. And it walks you through, your vision, people, data, issues, processes, and traction. Traction is simply, once you have all those pieces and parts in place, you have your vision in place, you have the right people in the right seats, you're collecting the right data. And I talked about business analytics last time, and that kind of goes with the data piece. You're identifying issues on a regular basis. You're dealing with those issues on a regular basis, and you're tracking them. You have processes, SOPs put in place that make it clear how you go about doing your work. And then you develop traction, which means all these processes and everything's working together. You have your vision, people, data, issues, processes, all working in concert with each other to ultimately give you traction to be able to move your business forward. I once heard someone say a business is like a tree. It either grows or dies. And I have found in business that is 100% truth. Either you're growing or you're dying. Sometimes you're dying, it's necessary. It's the pruning process. You need to cut out some of the dead weight and start back to cut away some of the dead weight to be able to move to the future in a positive direction, maybe with some new people or new resources. So I'm not going to go into any of them in great detail because you can't do that in 5 or 10 minutes. And when we do a podcast, we do this Facebook Live. But I will tell you that there are a couple of things in here that I've taken on board that have been extremely helpful to my business. One of them is having a good vision. A vision is why you do what you do. I know a lot of people get confused with the difference between a vision and a mission is. A vision is simply, why you do what you do. A mission is what you do. So, the vision for my company is my vision for my company is simply helping people in the name of God. Okay, so it's obviously in working. It's in the works because this is something I found as a flaw. I was using my mission statement as my vision statement, but essentially, ultimately, my vision is to create an organization where we help people, and we're helping people under the umbrella of the fact that we want to build God's kingdom on earth, right? So we want to help more people get to heaven. So that's kind of the vision that I have for ACE Consulting. Of course, you got to make money. Of course, you got to do those things because you can't be in business unless you have you make money and you can only help people if you have resources, right? So those by doing business and having resources, we can help people. Now, with the vision of doing that, bringing people to God by helping them using the business model to do that, the second part of that is the mission statement, and the mission statement is what we do. And my mission statement is very clear. It's using our Christian values. We make project administration and management easy. Pretty straightforward, pretty concise. Not as concise as say Disney. Disney's mission statement is actually vision statement is, we make people happy. Making people happy is what their vision is, and I think that's very concise in what they do. So something you got to look at. People say, well, that's a waste of time. It's me sitting in a room by myself. It's not, I don't have a staff of 20 people. Well, if you're reading books like, Traction, and you're you're going to get there eventually. So you need to start off with a good vision of how to move forward. And so that's why it's important. My business started 12 years ago with myself. We have 72 people actually. And how do you go from 1 to 72? You only get there by having a clear vision of what you want to do, a clear mission statement. If you don't, then especially with us, because we're globally, we want to make sure everybody's on the same page, whether they're here in the United States working or in Greenland or Guam or wherever we send them. It's important. Large companies who do construction all across the world, they need to have a central vision. So regardless of where their folks are at, they know what the vision of the company is. Kind of going hand in hand with that, we could talk about, people, having people in the right seats, right people in the right seats. Now think about that. Do we have the right person in the right seat? The right person. How do we determine what the right person is? And the right person to me is fairly easy. First of all, you have to have some core values that your company stands for. Our core values is we do the right thing. Number one. Number two, we do so with a sense of urgency. And number three is we're the gold standard. So whoever I sit in front of me to hire, fire, promote, or anything like that, I'm going to go ahead and hire, fire, promote based on those core values. So the right person is fairly simple to get, as long as you understand what your core values are. Now the right seat. Sometimes you can have the right person in the wrong seat. So say you take somebody who's an introvert and you put them into the world of business development or in sales. Well, that may not fit them well, because maybe you need to be an extrovert to be in that position. You don't want to have an accountant be a salesperson, per se, because the stereotype accountant is more of an introverted person. So if we have the wrong person, they don't meet our core values, they don't even enter our door, or they don't stay with our company, right? So the wrong person in the right seat is still a no-go. They have to be the right person in the right seat. Data, I talked about analytics. That's something that we do. That's something that's happening more and more. I think that's the next generation of construction, is looking at analytics, looking at data, and dissecting your company, your organization, your project to tell you if you're successful or not, and monitor that for you. Issues, we have to have an issues list. We have to have a list of issues that we collect from everybody. We should meet regularly, discuss these issues, solicit input from people, because most people want to live in this world where they have blinders on, where they're only looking in one direction, tunnel vision, if you will. And we can't be that way. We can't have tunnel vision and expect our company to be successful, because once you get to a point where you have 70 people like we do, I am not involved in the day-to-day of every single thing that goes on. So who better to tell me about the issues than the people who are involved in the day-to-day? So that goes on to the issues. Processes, we need to have SOPs in place for how we do things. Now, these SOPs don't need to be extremely detailed. They could be rather vague in some way, but there got to be a process documented. We use a different set of, and this is a process we're working through. We have various different SOPs. Some of them are very, very detail-oriented for some of our junior staff, and some of them are more vague for more of our senior staff. So the great thing about having an SOP in place is when you have a new person come on board and you have a task that's repetitive, you can simply hand a document to them and you don't have to train them. The document is fairly straightforward, and I'm talking about having things like screenshots of software. This is how you do this, and this is how you do that. Do video series, different things like that. We offer, scheduling videos. Those scheduling videos walk you through step by step by how to do a schedule, and it's nice. Company buys those from us because they can store them in their Dropbox file or their server, and they can use that data they can use those videos to be able to help keep people on the same page as part of an SOP, say for scheduling. And then, of course, we have traction, which is at the very end. And traction is simply we're using vision, people, data, issues, processes to move it forward. We're getting traction. We're moving things forward because you will grow. You cannot grow, if you have all those items in place. None of them will be perfect, and perfection is not the goal here. It's to get as good as you possibly can be. So that's kind of my talk today. I ran a little bit long. Once again, get this book, read it. It's Traction by Wickman. If you're interested in having some advisory work done by ACE Consulting, whether by myself or one of my staff, just let me know. Just go to my website and do an inquiry. And I think that would be extremely helpful. I am doing a training series with AGC. And in AGC, I'm doing the concept of EOS altogether, explaining to how helpful EOS can be to your organization. At the end of this book, it has another series of books that you can read. And some of them I read one of them. It's called Get a Grip. And it gives you the first chapter of Get a Grip. And in the first chapter of Get a Grip, and all it simply is, as you can see it there, first chapter of Get a Grip is nothing more than a story. So it takes these concepts and it puts it within a story, and it's pretty incredible. So it's a pretty good read. I read that before I read Traction, and I probably should have done the opposite. So, but there are many different books that you can use, that you can take out of this one book to help you implement EOS, whether you're using a facilitator or not. So that's the summary for today. If you've got any comments or anything, put them on the bottom of this post, and be more than happy to respond to it. And if you're interested in getting EOS as part of your organization or inquiring about it further, just let me know. Thank you.